Hi, guys, and welcome back to The Consequence of Love. I'm the wife.
And I'm the husband. And today we have a special guest, a good friend of ours from Fort Polk. But before we get to that, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. This many of you are subscribed or not subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button, especially if you like what you're listening to. Follow us on Spotify. We have a TikTok now. Check us out on TikTok. And thank you guys for following.
And now our guest is my best friend, Makayla.
Hi.
Welcome, Makayla.
Hello.
How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Oh,
Or
no
me.
problem. How are you?
Good.
How does it feel to be in Texas?
Good. It's
Yeah.
nice that it's finally over and we're here.
Yeah, the move was rough.
Yeah.
Did you have any thoughts of Texas prior to moving here? Were you like, oh shit, Texas, or...
Years ago, we had wanted to move here. Probably around the time we lived in Polk.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got back to Virginia and we lived close to family again. And then we kind of got used to living next to family. So we didn't really want to move away from family.
Yeah, that's kind of a hard thing to move from. Well, before we get too deep into random questions, do you want to introduce to them how you know her?
Yeah, definitely. So honestly, I met Makayla, through Zach, honestly, and her husband. So his basic friend, or you know what I mean?
Coworker, colleague, friend,
exactly.
pal.
Yeah,
buddy.
pretty much like they went to basic together, went to the same
unit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Base. There we go. And then one day he was like, "Hey, my friend got married. You want to come meet his wife? Sure, let's go have dinner."
Was it even like that, or was it
Yeah.
were we hanging out at the Woodies and then he brought Makayla?
Well, he asked us to dinner, and then we went with the Woodies. and
I know, but
Makayla.
so I recall. I just remember seeing you sitting down with Brandon. I was like, okay, hi. Do you recall different than that?
A little bit. Like, obviously, it wasn't like crazy.
What do
but
you recall?
like
At a house or at a
text.
dinner?
We got a text, and they were like, "Let's go to dinner."
It was in
to
DeRidder,
meet.
wasn't it?
So you remember meeting
Yeah.
her at a dinner?
Yeah,
yeah, it was at a restaurant in DeRidder.
it was started with a C or something. It was like a seafood.
It
not
was-
seafood,
And then they put spinach in my fettuccine Alfredo, and I was very unhappy about
Yeah.
that.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, because I remember we sat there and you were really quiet, and I was like, I don't think she likes any of us. Because like me and
No, I'm
Marley
just
kind
shy.
of knew each other. Yeah, that's what I was like. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, it's fine. And obviously Brandon was talking a lot, and I didn't really know Brandon. He knew Brandon, so they were talking, and I was like, that was it. And I was like, okay, cool. After that we started like hanging out more. Because Brandon was married.
Am I really just losing my mind that I can't remember things like this?
Yeah.
Because I legitimately remember you just sitting down, like on a step or something, like in someone's backyard. And
That
I think,
happened at the Woodies.
That's
I
what I'm
know
saying,
you're
okay,
talking about.
right? So that's
but
what
I
it-
think that was,
That was after.
afterwards.
Okay, well that's the start of what I remember. Like I remember nothing before that. I
Yeah,
remember
because
just,
for dinner she was really quiet.
but I don't remember dinner.
No, yeah, it wasn't anything special.
I thought
Like
it
said,
was
we-
like, hey, we're having a bonfire, come over.
that was the second time,
Oh,
and that's when we like started actually talking. Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember that. Okay, sorry, continue.
Okay. But yeah, that's about it. I only remember that restaurant because obviously I feel it wasn't that great. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's so
Cecil's.
good." Yeah, thank you. It
Cecil's.
started with the
I
C.
remember because Eli shit his pants.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, that's
We
the
had to
memorable
buy
thing
a
is like,
shirt for that.
yeah, that was cute.
Pooping all up his back. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty funny. Poor baby.
But like that's how I remember it. And then, like I said, ever since then, we just started getting closer. I don't know if it's because our husbands kept hanging out or our friend group, but we just started getting
I
closer.
think one day I just texted you and was like, "Hey, you want to come over because you lived like
Down
a
the
half
road,
mile
yeah.
down the
Like
road."
Yeah.
around the corner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or were we living?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we were still living on Post at the time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
Then we just got back to Post.
I'm glad that you remember this because I don't
Yeah.
at all. Okay, so that's how we all met, of course. And then what would you say, like you said you called her to hang out, like what made you want to talk to her or like be like, hey, let's be friends type of thing? Like what crossed your mind?
She was nice. And she was just one of the only people there I really knew.
Yeah.
So it just happened that we clicked. We just happened to get along.
Yeah.
I don't get along with very many. Not that I don't get along with people. You got to be a certain type of way for me to vibe.
Yeah. To vibe.
To vibe.
To vibe. Okay, and then so that's where basically we met. Okay, and then would you like to tell us a little bit of your backstory, like where you grew up, and then how you got to Polk?
Yeah, so I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Born and raised. So I had met Brandon, my husband. He's military. And he went to the same high school as me. We met and we were friends. A little more than friends, but not boyfriend, girlfriend. And we stopped talking for a couple years. And then we kind of just reconnected because he was going to Afghanistan. And I was just like, hey, hope you're doing well. Stay safe. Hope everything goes well. And we just never stopped talking.
And so it was just, you were just reaching out to say like, hey, like you're doing well. You weren't communicating on the regular at the time.
At the time, no. We hadn't talked in a year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
And then how did,
Longer?
because again, my recollection is one day he was single, the next day he was married. Like
That's everybody's recollection.
Right, so like-
but we
so-
dated while he was in Afghanistan. So we dated for
But
a
you
couple
got-
months, but then we broke up. Well, actually, I kind of broke up with him.
Okay, so this is where, hold on, I need a little clarification because, again, from my recollection, well, no, I guess not, huh? That would have been after Afghanistan.
Yeah, because we just had Eli while they were in
He came back from
Yeah, and then I was thinking, because
Afghanistan.
I was like, yeah, Marley and Woody didn't get together until after Afghanistan, or just before Afghanistan.
Because I remember, as soon as I got back from Afghanistan, we just had Eli in the hospital, and Zuni brought me McDonald's, and then we started meeting more people because everyone
my
was gone.
timeline is so off because I was thinking you guys met and got married prior to Afghanistan, and then just stayed together forever.
It was like a weekend wedding, right? Like
Well, it was a couple months. We got engaged right around Christmas, and we got married in March. So it was a couple months.
Okay.
But we had stopped dating while he was in Afghanistan, and then we started to talk again and re-date in October. I think he got back in October. So I think we started dating then, and then we just kind of were like, hey, let's get married. And here we are.
yeah, because I know the unit got back like a month earlier or something like that.
Yeah,
Everyone
Yeah.
in my family swore up and down I was pregnant. The amount of people when I was like, hey, I'm getting married, they're like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. But I can understand why we got engaged and married so fast. That, I mean, it makes sense. But it also just made sense as to why we were getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's your reasoning for getting married?
Love?
That makes sense.
That's why a lot of people
I'm making sure. Not a lot of people, especially not in the military, they get
Yeah.
married
That
for BAH, they get
Yeah.
married for TRICARE. That's why
I mean,
I'm
I
asking.
joke with him and I tell him that's why I
Yeah.
married him. That's not true.
Yeah. That's why she married me.
I didn't even know about that stuff when I married
That's
you.
what he says. He's
Yes,
like,
you
you
did.
have no
No, I
idea about BH.
The whole reason we got married was for the money.
Well, we were together before that.
Okay, but still, we got married
Yeah,
for
and
the
you made me marry
benefits, for the money.
You made me marry you.
You wanted it. Anyways,
So back when you were obviously in Virginia, how was your life, I guess, growing up? Did you love Virginia? Were you kind of the person that's like, small town, get me out of here?
can't wait to move.
Yeah. What were
No,
your...
I was always ready to leave. I
yeah.
always wanted to leave.
Like, not look back?
Yeah.
Okay.
From the very beginning. I loved my life,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't like the town. I wanted to leave. Now looking back at it, I miss it and I
Well-
would probably go back.
What made you want to leave, and then what makes you want to go back?
The people, I didn't like the people. The people there, not all of them, but a lot of them, they stick to their cliques and they're very cliquish and
And this is basically your high school time, so that
Yeah.
you're just kind of associating that type of
Yeah.
lifestyle, and you just
well, but even as adults, the people, because I'm from a small town, the people in there stick to their cliques even after they get out of high school. So, like, the people that hung out in high school, like, whether it's the popular crowd or the nerdy crowd or whatever, for the most part, if they're still in the area, they still hang out together. And it's still very cliquish. Like, and everybody knows everything about everyone. And I just didn't like that vibe. But now I'd love to move back because of family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think we go full circle as like people wanting to either leave something or you're making decisions based off one thing. And usually family is the reason, I think, at least in my perspective, that drives people away. I wanted to get as far away from my family as I could.
I mean, that definitely played a part.
Yeah. And then now it's full circle because now we want our family close. Very interesting. Okay, so then you guys got married. How was your wedding? Was it like your dream wedding, or was it just really nice? Was it everything you hoped at that time it would be?
Yeah, it was more. My mom and dad did a lot, and well, honestly, my whole family put in a lot of money towards it. They did, like, we had people bring in food, dishes. His family did a lot. His family brought in food, dishes. Like, everybody just chipped in and made it a great wedding.
That's good. And then you guys get married. And how soon does he bring you out to Polk?
I think I had to wait 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, I came in, my first weekend there was, I want to say Easter. So from March to April.
And then
I flew there. I was supposed to wait a couple more weeks and drive down the U-Haul and stuff with my dad. And we decided that we just wanted to be together. He already had the house and we just didn't want to wait anymore. So my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister all got the U-Haul and drove all of our stuff to Louisiana and moved us there.
before you moved out there, did you have your own place or you staying with parents?
I stayed with parents.
So this experience would have been like your first time out of the house and like all that stuff. So how did that feel to you? Were you like, oh my God, this house? Because that's how we felt. We're like, holy crap.
Like,
this
we
piece
lived
of
together.
crap is the
we
best
shared,
thing. Yeah.
what, like a townhome kind of thing with his brother.
Yeah.
So just one room, and like we shared the kitchen and stuff. And then going to base, like we saw like the townhome, and we were like, oh my God, this is amazing. I
So
ran upstairs,
much, yeah.
and we were like, oh my God.
Yeah, there's a whole nother floor. Oh my God. Yeah, like
So would you say like the same, or just kind of like, okay, this is...
Well, so when I first got there, he literally left for the field for like a week. And I had nothing. Like we had a twin size air mattress because my parents were bringing the stuff down 2 weeks later. So we had a twin size air mattress. We had to go out and buy one pan. Like when I came there, all that was in the house. He did surprise me with a dog.
Yeah, I remember that.
So there was my dog and a frying pan, not a frying pan, peanut butter and beer. That's literally all that was in the house. And I was like, you're leaving. What am I supposed to do for food? We bought pizza rolls. But how do you eat pizza rolls without a microwave?
Yeah.
Or at least a pan to put it on in the oven.
Yeah.
So I had to fry pizza rolls for a week while he was gone. And let me tell you, they don't taste good left.
And then did he leave? He left you the car though, right? Or-
He did, but I didn't have a military ID.
Oh yeah.
Because I came in on like a Sunday and he went to work
would have had
Monday.
to get you, and so you wouldn't have been able to. So basically, why that's important is because without that military ID, she wouldn't have been able to leave post and then come back. They wouldn't have let her inside. So
Like I
yeah.
had to knock on my neighbor's door to ask for Advil because we didn't even have Advil. And like I didn't want to drive. Like I wasn't sure if I could drive or go to the gas station without the military ID and all that. And I was like, I have the worst headache. Are you guys able to give me something? I was like, I don't have a military. And they laughed at me and they gave it to me. And they were like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If you need anything, let us know. And I mean, we were very friendly with them. We were never friends, but we were friendly. Like they came over a couple times.
Yeah.
What were their names? Do you remember their names? I'm just curious. No.
Advil people.
Advil. What a terrible husband. I'm just kidding, Brandon. So you fried pizza rolls, and then did you reach out to her while he was gone at all?
We hadn't met
No.
yet.
Oh,
We didn't meet
that's
until
right,
after
'cause
Easter.
Okay, so he was gone in the field, comes back. When that's interesting too. By the way, we also were in the same boat. When we got here, we didn't have pots and pans and stuff like that, and we were sleeping on a mat, and then we didn't even think about pots and pans.
No.
Like we're like, shit, how are we gonna eat? So that was a common struggle, I guess, for new military families. But anyway, so
It was good though because like at least someone for him told him about like a place where you can rent pots and pans.
we Googled it.
You Googled it? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought someone told you about
we
it.
Googled it.
Okay. Well, in the military, they gave us like a pot and pan. We had to return it after.
That would have
But
been
they
nice
gave
to
you-
know.
Yeah, that like a
two
rental center.
forks.
They give us
2
a sleeping mat,
spoons,
yeah.
Yeah, little things like that. A pot and
A plate or something like
yeah,
that.
2
like,
plates, something like that. And like if you mess it up, you have to return it or pay for it. And so
Yeah, I
obviously
don't
we
even
used
remember what we ate, but interesting.
that. Yeah.
But okay, so he comes back from the field, and then what, like, it's hard to, like, try to put in words. Like, were you, like, oh my God, thank goodness you're back. I loved you so much. I can't wait to hug you. Or were you just like, oh, thank God you're back because I'm fucking hungry, or what?
Probably a little of both, honestly. Like, I had been eating pizza rolls for a week, and it was culture shock because I'd never left my parents' home. I had never been on my own, and I went from, living with my parents and my sister and their 2 dogs to then living by myself with my husband, who then left to go to a field, and I knew no one, not a single soul. So I know I was happy to see him, but I was probably happy to get food too.
Yeah. Okay, and then after he got back, did he, like, give you a tour of Polk, or what? Like, what happened?
Well, he gave me a tour of Polk the day I came in.
Uh-huh.
So I got there early in the morning. Like, I think I got there like 9 o'clock or something like that. And we drove all around. I saw it. After he got back, he had all his single soldier friends. Well, they might have had girlfriends, but
Yeah.
they weren't married.
Yeah.
And we went to Alex. We had bought a car, and then we went to Alex.
That's right. He didn't have a car before that. I had to give him rides everywhere.
Well, he ended up right before I moved down there. He bought the Nissan, the Frontier. But then I needed a car so I could get around. So he
I forgot
bought.
you guys had a Frontier too. I just
Yeah.
remember the Eclipse.
Well, that's the car we bought, and I'll never forget. We went into Alex, and they had a roundabout, and where we're from, roundabouts aren't a thing.
Yeah.
So like I'm cruising into it, and he's like, brake, 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 and I'm like going like, oh my God, like I almost hit a car. It was
Yeah.
almost pretty bad. almost pretty bad. I did brake in time, but
Yeah.
it could have been a lot worse.
Oh my goodness. And then he shows you around all that good stuff. And then when does the dinner happen? And then, like, explain your experience at that dinner where you meet us, I guess.
I don't remember how soon that dinner happened.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all.
I want to say it was before the Eclipse. So I remember you being like, "Oh, I got a car." He got me a car. Like we were talking for a little bit, and then
The car was one of the first things we did, though. And I had met a couple other people before I met you. We just didn't hang out quite as much. They were cool and everything, and one of them I thought was a really good friend, and that didn't end up working. But
yeah, that happens a lot.
yeah,
Okay, well maybe it was just like I forgot.
well,
I
no,
remember
because we
talking-
had all our furniture by that time,
That's
right?
why I was remember
We-
going to your house and being like, "Oh my God, you guys have furniture?" And our house is still like a couch and a
Yeah,
table
couch
kind
and a
of
bed,
thing.
yeah.
I got really
And-
lucky, and our families gave us a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like I think I remember meeting your mom, and then like I said, you had your car, and you're like, "Yeah, he just got Easter price, or this is my car he got me, or something." And I was like, "That's cool. We only have one fucking car, You're like, and I'm home alone,
But it was nice because we could drive to each. Like I could drive
yeah.
to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously,
So-
like after that, we started hanging out, But like that's how obviously I remember. Obviously, I don't know if that's right.
We
but I
got
remember
the
you
car
being
before
like-
my parents came down there because got the car before we had my stuff. So
Okay.
we had to have met you like right after we
They
met.
dropped it off or
Yeah,
something.
it had to have been right in there, and it was good. I'm very shy when I meet people, so like the initial sit down of it was
Do you
overwhelming.
remember it? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
It was overwhelming, and I felt like you knew the other people that were at the dinner, and so I felt like I was the odd one out. But then I later found out that it was everybody's first time meeting, and I was like, oh, that would have been nice to know. Like, I wouldn't have felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Like-
before that, I only met single Nate. I didn't know Marley, But when she went to dinner with us, that's when I got to know Marley. And I thought you already knew Marley. So I was like, okay, I don't know anyone, which is fine. You know, I'll just say it with my husband. I know Brandon a little bit. You know, I know them as single, but I didn't know them as like married. So I was just like, okay, like, hi, you know, and eating, and that was it, you know?
Yeah.
And then obviously I had Eli, so I was just like being a mom, you know? Like, that's how I remember it. But I really thought you and Marley were friends too. That's why I was like, okay, cool. Like, you guys can talk, I'll eat, whatever. This place kind of sucks, but, you know. Like,
I liked Cecil. Cecil I thought was really good.
Everyone thought it was good. And
I didn't like it.
I'm not saying it was banging,
No, yeah.
but like in central Louisiana, that was like the best
that's
place
true.
to eat.
Yeah.
Like
That is
Yeah,
true.
that's it.
comparative to what McDonald's and then
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. They didn't. Did they have Taco Bell?
Yeah, I had the front gate. But you have to go drive all the way to front gate. Yeah.
Do you remember the time Brandon threw my hot fudge sundae out while I was pregnant out the window? I was pregnant and we left your house. I think you were having a get together and the three of us went to go get, because I was craving a hot fudge sundae. We went to go get it and he literally threw it out the window because they filled it up so much and it was like just exploding all over the car that he literally opened the window and threw it out and I like cried.
No, I don't.
Cried. We drove 20 minutes for that and I didn't even get it.
Oh my God.
That's funny. I don't remember that at all. Oh my goodness. Okay, then you met us and we became the bestest friends ever. So after we had dinner, great, you got to meet us. It was super awesome and fun. And from your experience from then till about now, how would you say your experience has been in the military? Or like, how would you describe it to someone who doesn't understand what it's like to be a military wife?
It's hard, but I like it. I have no complaints.
You have no complaints.
Well,
Off of everything that you've
being
experienced.
forced to move, that one kind of sucks.
Yeah. About
Especially
housing or dealing with your husband just being taken away from you at any moment.
well, you get used to it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Did you?
A little bit, but at the same time, obviously, I still missed you. You know?
I mean, yeah,
Bitch
I
about
miss
it so
them,
much.
but
There's
you
nothing
get
you
used
can
to
do.
it. Yeah, it's kind of like
They going for a
okay,
field, like, oh, fuck, okay, you know.
of course this is happening again.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's over a holiday. That's great, cool, but okay. Yeah, I mean, you just kind of
Figure it out.
yeah.
Well, you cried about it to me, and that's the whole reason why
because
I got
I'm needy. Like, you know.
out. What about like your overall experience at Fort Polk? Like, what was?
Honestly, Polk wasn't the worst base I've been to.
Oh, Polk was my best time.
Yeah, I
loved
didn't.
Polk.
Anyway. Yeah.
What? You met Makayla there?
Yeah. Obviously,
Okay.
some experiences were good. Yeah.
Yeah, but out of everything, like we made all of our friends there. Okay. Did we make any friends at Fort Hood?
No.
Did you make any friends while I was in Korea?
No.
Exactly. So how were those experiences in comparison?
Anyway, yeah.
I would definitely say Belvoir was the worst.
Yeah.
And why?
Well, their housing stunk.
Yeah.
Their housing was horrible. And I'm not high maintenance when it comes to a house. Like, Polk housing says that. Like, you can tell with Polk housing. Like, if you can get through Polk housing, it's okay. But Fort Belvoir was horrible.
That's way
And
worse.
then, yeah, I would go back to Polk. I would not go back to Belvoir.
Yeah.
And it's weird because a lot of people say that Polk is one of the worst bases out there, and I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, and I wouldn't be thrilled if like they were like, "Hey, you're going back to Polk." Like I wouldn't be excited, but I wouldn't be like, "No, not again."
Yeah,
and
hating life,
yeah, Belvoir around the base was just so run down, and I almost got mugged multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, guy walked up to my window and was like, "Give me money," and I was like, "I don't have money." Luckily,
Yeah.
he walked away. But like, I think it's too city-like for me. I like the country, the rural area.
Yeah. No, like I said, yeah, Polk wasn't that bad. Like I said, obviously I've only been to Polk and Hood. So, in Hood, like I said, Hood's
Big.
too big.
Yeah.
Like too big. And it's just, I don't know, obviously like where we're at is great. You know, I love Temple. But it was nice having Polk because it was so tiny. But at the same time, it's like, once the pool's closed,
What are you going to do? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's alligator farms and like other little stuff, but it's like
But you
sometimes
also
have
had to
kids
drive for that.
and, yeah. So
Like, it's not like it was like 20 minutes down the road. It was a good 45
2 hours sometimes.
2 hours, yeah.
Yeah,
But they
Alex
were
was an
fun.
hour. Mm-hmm.
I never got to see my wild alligator, though.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
I
I
do
didn't get
wanna
to
go
go to
back.
New Orleans, but that's fine. You know,
smelled
obviously
like
we can go
pee.
back. Yeah, that's what everyone said. They're like, it's not
It
worth
smelled
it.
like pee, and I'm pretty sure I stepped in pee.
So, going back, you're at Polk. You just got married. I remember when we started talking, you said you didn't want to have kids, or yes, you wanted to adopt kids.
Yeah.
And then you met my son, or you hung out with my son at the mall.
He was perfect.
Yeah. And so, what made you change your mind about, I guess, having your own children, or why did you and Brandon want to have a child or start a family, I should say?
Well, I'd still like to adopt one day, if that's in the cards, if that'll work. But your child, being as perfect as he was such a good baby. Even still, he's still really good. And Thomas was good. Matthew was my crier. But I don't know, just hanging out with another baby as frequently as we hung out, it just changed.
Yeah, baby
Gave you
fever.
fever,
Yeah.
Who was that hard to convince, Brandon? Or
No.
you were just like, surprise, I poked holes.
No, I definitely asked him.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely asked him. It took a couple times of me being like, hey, I think we should do this. I think this would be great. And then he was finally like, yeah. And it didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. He was finally like, yeah, let's do it. And then we tried for a couple months. And then we stopped trying, but we weren't really stopping trying either. Because he was getting deployed and he got me pregnant like the week he left
Yeah.
for an 8-month deployment.
That was Korea.
Yeah.
Nice.
So from going there, did you and Brandon ever talk about having kids before you got married, or even like right after you got married?
No, because I was completely against kids for a while.
Okay.
Did he want kids before that? Or
I don't
he
know.
just what didn't really
He didn't say. He didn't state either way.
That's crazy. Right. And then obviously before that, like you had Bayo, which is her puppy. Would you recommend, I guess, learning from your significant other with pets? Do you recommend, getting a puppy before
like
having
was
a
it
kid?
a good
Yeah, was that a
indicator
good
of how
start?
good of a
Yeah.
father he'd be? Or is it like just completely different?
I think it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the same in a lot of ways, but
Yeah.
in most ways they're different. Like,
I raise my kids like I raise my dog. No. Sit. Stay. It worked.
I just think it's different. I don't know.
Yeah, because obviously I just asked because there's a lot of people that are like, you should get a dog, see how they react, or you know what I mean, like
How they treat them.
Yes, thank
No,
you.
you should babysit
But-
somebody else's child, and then and make sure it's somebody else's child who's not well behaved. Because just because you're babysitting a child that's really well behaved does not mean you are gonna get a child that is really well behaved.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That
And-
is some good advice.
Yeah, like babysit and not just one time. Like you got to do it a couple times and maybe try an overnighter or something like that. Like.
And then times that by 10.
Yeah,
And
because kids talk back and they just
they eat everything.
everything.
They're
Or
not.
something they don't eat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't eat. Yeah, and they're not happy with anything.
No.
And then they whine and they cry, but they're still amazing.
Yeah. No,
Debatable.
definitely. Yeah. So, what makes you? What do you love most about being a wife and a mom?
Making them happy, keeping them alive, including my husband,
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure he'd be lost without me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he'd lose his head if it weren't attached to him. But keeping them as a unit and watching, especially the children, grow and turn into tiny adults. It's nice.
Well,
And when they call you mommy.
yeah. What was like your first thought when Thomas popped out of your vagina?
Well, so I had a really bad delivery.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't connect with Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have that bonding experience when he was born.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of so tired and so just
Dying.
yeah, basically. We just didn't bond. Now I bonded with Matthew because his was quick and easy. His was super quick and easy. And that was nice. I was like, oh my gosh, I just delivered a baby basically without any type of
Complication.
that and any pain medicine. So I did him basically all natural. Like I had the epidural, but it didn't really work. So I could still feel like I could walk, I could everything. And that was like, wow, that just happened. That's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
Would be my first thought with Matthew. But with Thomas, like I said, it
What
took
about
me...
like taking him home? Like, where, cause like, or maybe the feeling, I guess, because like for her, it was a whole thing before the baby comes out. Cause obviously you guys are pregnant for 9 months. For me, it doesn't hit until he comes out, you know, or till the kids come out. And for me, at least with Eli, I was like, holy crap, like this thing is here. And this thing came out of her that came out of me, you know. So that's kind of like mind blowing, I guess. Or you kind of just like, fuck it, dude, get out of here. Let's go home. I'm tired.
So the scared feelings and all that came with Matthew. With Thomas, I was like, oh, I'm prepared for all this. This is great. Like, I was always the babysitter, so I had plenty of experience with kids. So, like, I kind of knew. I mean, you don't ever know what to expect,
Right.
but I kind of knew what to expect. But then, like, I had a miscarriage in between the two. And I think that's what made me connect a little bit more to Matthew than I did with Thomas, the pregnancy-wise, and made me more scared of, like, hey, you can't eat this when you're pregnant. You can't do this when you're pregnant. You got to be careful with this, and you got to do this. Or the fact that you could not break them, but break them, like putting on their clothes. Like, they're delicate. And I didn't feel any of that with Thomas. I was just like, hey, this is cool. Like, I can do this. And then with Matthew, I was petrified.
Yeah, I remember you being pregnant with Thomas, and obviously, like, your mom was texting me. I think I saw like your mom's number on my phone, and she's like, "We're walking around Alex Mall. You know, he's not coming out." You know, she was like pissed off at him, and then next thing you know, she's going to labor. You know, and I was like, "Good, keep me updated." And like your labor, just like, it felt like it took forever, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like
2 days of pre-labor, 2 days of active labor.
yeah, and so I was just like, I remember because we were in California, we were vacationing. I felt really bad.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But I kept getting text messages, and I was like, your mom was like, okay, he's here, blah, blah, blah. She sent me pictures, 2 pictures of Tom Tom. And I was just like, oh my God, this boy, you know. And then, like I said, with Matthew, obviously it was different because you weren't, I don't think you were in Polk. Yeah, you were in Virginia, I think, right?
No, I was in Leonardwood.
Leonard, duh, I forgot we went to Leonardwood. But yeah, so I don't, like I said, obviously I wasn't there for Matthew. But how, I guess, would you say it affected your mental health with either of them?
Matthew's was worse with the postpartum depression. Thomas, I don't remember having any.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I didn't.
Yeah.
I just don't remember it. So it couldn't have been too bad if I didn't have
maybe
it.
just like baby blues, and then you're like, okay, good.
Yeah.
You know? Okay.
But then Matthew's was pretty bad. And to be honest, it never really stopped.
Okay.
But I have a couple mental health issues, so it's hard to
blend in. Yeah.
Yeah, they just all blur.
Yeah.
And so after, obviously, I guess, having Matthew, when did you, I guess, seek help, or have you always had help?
I've always had help on and off.
Okay.
I've been in therapy since I was a teenager. but I don't go as regularly as I should, which is probably why it doesn't help as much as it should. But when I do go, it does help.
Yeah. Yeah. So would you say you and your family are very like pro therapy, pro help, pro medications?
We are now.
Right.
Some of us. Some of us still don't believe as much in therapy. And growing up, it wasn't really believed in.
Okay.
But now that I'm getting older, family is starting to believe in it a little bit more. And I actually have other family members that are in therapy. So.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I really brought that up because growing up, at least in my household, like, it was kind of like, you don't talk about things like that. And then the one time I got referred to a therapist, I remember it was for epilepsy, just to see how I felt or whatever, like what was going through my brain. And my mom was really like into knowing like what was going on in her life. She was really like a part of our lives, you know, because obviously we wouldn't have a dad. It was just her, my grandparents. That was it. And so I remember talking to the therapist, and the therapist was like, she's okay, so what did she say? You know, my mom would ask the therapist what she said, like, what's going on, how was it? My therapist was like, I can't tell you, it's between me and your daughter. I remember my mom getting really, like, hurt or upset or something like that, and then we never really went back. And I was like, okay, cool, like, that sucks. I was like, but I didn't really say anything, you know, I was kind of like, okay, it's cool, like, you know, dealing with this, you know, medical condition no one knew about, you know, but that was it. So it's weird because I don't know how. Did your family believe in therapy or mental health? Or
My family still struggles to understand it. Like whenever I tell people I have depression, they're like, "Get over it."
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, wish I could.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Then how does Brandon feel about it?
He's supportive.
Yeah.
He's even went to one of my therapy sessions to see how to handle my panic attacks.
Okay.
And because I have panic attacks and then I have depressive episodes because I'm bipolar. So I have really high highs and I have really, really low lows.
Yeah.
And so he went to see how he could do better and handle it. And it's still something we work on. I think that'll always be something we have to work on because it changes. Just because for a little while I was responding to one thing doesn't mean I'm always going to respond to something. And he's learned that and he's very supportive.
Yeah. That's good. That's nice. That's good to hear, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess moving from Virginia to Texas with like everything that's going on, because it obviously hasn't been easy, you know. How do you feel now? Obviously that you're here. I know you told me you're just happy you're here now, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I have my moments. But it's nice to be here with y'all, and it's nice to change of pace. It's a new experience, but it's been hard with not having our own house yet because, well, the market's crazy.
Yeah.
But
thanks COVID.
yeah, right. And then just the stress of it all. I don't do well under stress. So that part's been a challenge, but it's been okay.
Now that you guys are super close to owning your home, does that make you excited or just more nervous?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Depends on right when you ask.
Yeah.
Some moments I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great. And then there's other moments where I'm like, what did we get ourselves into?
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be, because we bought a fixer-upper, so it's going to be such a challenge. But I know he's super excited. He's really excited over it. So it'll be a learning experience. There'll be a learning curve.
Yeah.
But it'll work itself out.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool.
The good thing about fixer-uppers is you can make it exactly what you want it to be. So that's always a positive. Yeah.
It just helps if you have more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could be millionaires
Oh yeah.
and do
Yeah.
fixer-uppers.
What would you do if you had $1 million today, right now? First 3 things you do, go.
Probably go to SeaWorld.
Okay. What's next?
Or get food. And one of the two orders.
You have $1 million. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
I'm either going to get food or SeaWorld. One of the two. It's
Okay.
close enough.
Okay.
And the next two.
And then I'd travel.
Okay.
I'd see family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I just saw them. I'd still want to go see them. But then I'd also see the rest of the world.
Okay. And then last?
That was 3 things.
Well,
I
we'll
said-
count the food and SeaWorld as 1. Visiting,
You gotta
traveling.
eat at SeaWorld, yeah.
Yeah, visiting and traveling is 2.
I don't know.
You have $1 million. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I'd probably fix up my house.
Okay, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. I just laughed at SeaWorld because it's like drastically different than I drastically different. So we're like pay bills, but a bigger car, and then then go on vacation.
So.
Why do you like SeaWorld so much? Why is that?
I've
number
never been, so it'll be an experience.
There's one in San Antonio. Let's go.
I know, that's why we gotta wait until we went. So military gets in for free at Busch Gardens or SeaWorld once a year.
Oh, it's like $5 to get in.
That's all it is.
I don't know, but it's
It's
cheap.
pretty cheap, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like 60 something.
For like a
per
year
person.
pass. No,
Oh,
it's SeaWorld. Nobody wants to go to that shit. It's cheap.
don't they have like a whale?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
But even then, like, people are like, you should capture a whale. So they've been like,
I mean,
letting
even
him
then,
go.
even before all that, I didn't want to go to SeaWorld. Like, I went when I was a
I
kid,
think
and I
it'd be
don't
cool
remember
to
it.
just see it. Like,
I don't
just
disagree
once.
with you. I don't disagree with you. Like, we had Aquarium of the Pacific, which is essentially the same thing, except without killer whales and like a show. It's just a big aquarium, right? And I had more fun at an aquarium where there's no shows than I did at SeaWorld, where there was like and shit.
See, I normally find aquariums boring. I like zoos.
I
but
find all that stuff
aquariums-
boring. All
see,
that
I
stuff
like
is
zoos.
absolutely boring. Why the
We've-
fuck do I want to go eat fucking hay? Why?
We've been every place we
Look,
went.
he's taking his shit. Oh my god, so great.
Oh my God.
It's 100 degrees outside. I'm sweating my balls off. Like we went to the alligator zoo. Like that was fun for 5 minutes, and I was like, oh my god, it's hot as fuck.
I liked it. But I like animals, so
I like animals too, and I enjoyed y'all enjoying having fun. But I was like, why the fuck?
I'm over it. Can we go home? You did get to eat alligator, though, didn't you?
It was not a highlight of my life.
No?
I would definitely skip that in my time period if I had to relive my life. Like even now she wants to go to the zoo, and like of course I would support my family, and if they want to go I would take them, but I don't want to go. So if you want to take them by all means. My mom
We can all go.
take them. I'll stay
Right.
here, I'll take a nap, play video games, whatever, but zoo is no.
How many zoos around? We will definitely be going
Yeah.
to some zoos. Because we've made it a fact, or like a part of everywhere we go to the zoos.
Yeah.
That's kind of our thing.
Why to see a llama over there and then a llama over here?
so knowing how my husband feels about zoos, does your husband object as much as mine does?
No.
Or, like, so obviously he'll go if I ask him. But
I just
I don't
want-
think he's
Yeah.
jumping at joy to go,
Yeah.
but I don't think he feels quite like Zach.
Like
Like I
Dave
think
Nancy
he's
over
like,
here.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Because like the way I'm reacting, obviously I don't react that to her because she already knows how I feel. I'm just expressing to you how I feel. Because like I'm like and she's like, "Do you want to go?" I'd be like, "Not really," but okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys go to SeaWorld. I'll be at the Lazy River at that hotel across the street, and I'll be chilling and drinking some alcohol. That's what we can
Okay.
do.
But yeah, so obviously learning that fact. How would you say? What's your biggest struggle for like you and your husband?
Probably we're both dominant people. We both want to be in charge. We both want to be correct. We both always want to be the one who's,
What's your sign?
we're both Libras.
Oh,
They're,
we're
like,
all
a week
Libras.
apart. Yep.
It's
That's
so
why.
interesting because we're all so different. Like we're pretty close, I would say, and like because we're both pretty quiet, we have strong opinions. But Brandon is like way the other side. Like he doesn't shut up. Love you, Brandon, and obviously he has strong opinions as well. But
He's not like
Yeah.
as vocal about him as like you guys are.
no, he is. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't shut up.
Oh, I thought. Okay.
He just Go walk downstairs. Don't say a word. I bet you he starts a conversation with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Every
that's
morning
what I'm
he's like, "Good morning." And I'm like,
Oh, he's such
Hi.
a morning person. It's not even funny. I'm like, give me 30 minutes, like more like an hour, but
Yeah.
give me a little bit to wake up. And he's like, hey, babe, let's go do. And I'm like, no. I need like coffee and like, I need to wake up.
oh my god, that's funny. So how do you guys, I guess, work? Who ultimately wins in the?
Yeah, like what's your dynamic?
Yeah.
How do you get through the day?
Rock,
How
paper,
do you make
scissors?
decisions? How do
Yeah.
you...
A lot of times he's more of the easygoing one. A lot of times I'm more of the one that's like pushing, no, I'm right. So a lot of times he's easy and laid back and he'll be like, yeah, sure, whatever you want. It's up to you. But then on things that we both feel very strongly about, it's a battle. We butt heads and we fight and bicker. Not like fight, but we bicker
Yeah.
until one of us wins. And it just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to go grab that book so you can read their relationship.
Right now?
Yeah,
On
you think
camera?
that'd be funny or no?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. You guys keep talking
Okay.
about stuff.
Obviously, with important stuff, did you know you were gonna marry your husband, or were you kind of just like, if it doesn't work out, it works out? Like, were you like, would you be heartbroken if you guys didn't end up together?
So we talked for a while in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought we were going to. And
Okay.
then he went off and he joined the army and he did his thing.
Okay.
And I became in a serious relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't go where I thought it was going to go, thankfully,
Mm-hmm.
looking back at it. And then when we started talking, I went into mine and Brandon's talking very lighthearted because I had only come out of a very serious
Yeah.
relationship, like, I don't know, no more than a year before that. And I didn't want anything super serious.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of started talking and didn't stop talking.
Mm-hmm.
And it went places. It
Yeah.
just kind of,
Kind of just took off. You
Yeah.
guys fell in love.
yeah.
Okay.
This book will tell us, we're supposed to give you an idea of like how your relationship is or will be with someone of a different sign. And it's pretty close. So like we can look up your kids' signs as well, and it'll kind of give an idea of like your relationship, how to be with them. And so you can kind of tell us like how close it is or how far off it is with yours and Brandon's. So it's pretty interesting because, I mean, we've used it to look up each other's, our kids and stuff like that, and it's been pretty spot on. And I think it's funny. I think it'd be interesting.
So, all right. So you both are Libra 3s. You're not full Libras, but you're Libras.
A
Does that make
third of a
sense?
Libra.
Yes. Well. Okay. So your strengths are lively, active, and dedicated.
I am definitely not active.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you guys are out and about, so is active. You're more active than me, Zach.
True.
So,
Yeah, you guys have left
you
the
guys-
house like 3 times this week. We left like once.
Yeah, that was
And
to my
to
mom's.
to another house. Yeah.
Your weaknesses: unaware, disruptive, and over dramatizing.
Oh, you guys are definitely over dramatic.
Dramatizing, whatever.
Yeah, a little bit.
Your best is friendship. Your worst is work. You guys cannot work together.
No, that is so true.
Okay.
Who's more dramatic, you or Brandon?
Me, hands down. Hands
Just had to
down.
make sure.
All right. Advice before I have to look into this. Advice is be more contemplative. Get to know yourself better. Don't be afraid to show your true feelings. Your image is not so important. So don't worry about how you guys look. You know what I mean? Or to the outside world. Let's see.
How did you, when you were reading it one time, you were telling me like me and Andy would fight with each other?
Oh, it's in here. That's
Oh,
why
you
I
have to
look
read
for
it?
Yeah. Because there's friendships. They're not
Yeah.
friendships.
Well, you read slow, so I'll read
Okay.
it.
Oh, the lovers right there. I just saw it. Libra lovers.
Okay, ready?
Go.
Libra 3 lovers will have a difficult time of it, since their feelings will not always gel in the romantic and sexual spheres. Often out of sync, their interaction can suffer from misunderstandings, misplaced energies, and mixed signals. If both partners accept the increased and fixed responsibilities of marriage, however, the relationship will benefit. These two can also make conscientious and dedicated parents. How do you feel? Does that sound about right?
Yes and no. I mean, we was it jive?
Jive?
Jive? Is
guess.
that the correct word?
I don't know. You vibe, jive.
It
You
said
laugh.
gel, like,
Gel, yeah.
Gelled.
Do not always gel in romantic and sexual spheres.
yeah, so you guys aren't like
Fears.
lovey-dovey, but
You're not always like if I want to do it, she doesn't want to do it. That's not gelling together. Or opposite.
It just depends on.
Well, yeah. It's just saying, like, typically speaking, your feelings don't always
I would say normally we're pretty
on it together.
on it. Yeah.
The relationship is marked by instant recognition. Libra 3s will know that they have met someone of like mind with whom they can communicate openly and honestly. Would you say that's true?
Yeah.
Mostly with 3s, couples project a cool image without much display of their feelings or talk about what is bothering them.
I mean, that's me to a T. Like, I don't like to talk about what's bothering me. And what was the other one?
Don't display your feelings.
Yeah. And I'm not very affectionate.
Would you say the same for Brandon too?
No, he's more affectionate than me. And he'll talk about. It depends on what it is, if he'll
Yeah.
talk about it or not, if it's bothering him. If it's something that he feels that needs to be talked about, he'll talk about. Or if it's something that, like, I just said something and it irritated him, he's going to let that go.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, for the most part, I keep it bottled up.
yeah.
This is often because they do not know what's on their minds. And in fact, this relationship does not rate high in self-awareness. Libras are geared for action, so if the relationship is becalmed by the malice of indecision, it can truly suffer. If either of you guys can't make a decision, it's basically saying you guys will, like, obviously
Yeah.
suffer, but, like, not get along. Would you say that's true? Like, do you guys get upset when no one can pick up dinner, like, figure out dinner? Or, like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Well, like, just by you guys living there for a little bit, yeah.
That's how it feels for me. Like, I'm obviously not Libra 3, but that's exactly
Yeah.
how I feel. Like, if
Pretty
no
close
one makes a
together.
fucking decision, it pisses me the hell off.
a little bit more laid back, but yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well, yeah. Dealing with anxieties and depressions will be very difficult for this duo, since neither is likely to be able to drag the other out of a well of loneliness or despair.
So it's good that
That's
Brandon
interesting.
went to therapy with you to,
Yeah.
I guess, learn your triggers or depression. you know?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow. Let's read about your guys' friendships. Friendships here can be truly outstanding as long as the level of responsibility and expectation is not high. So we're laughing. Sorry, guys. We realize we're talking about this without including you guys. I find that funny from my perspective because they sometimes don't talk for weeks and then, or even months, maybe even a year, and then they're like, "Oh, you guys are my best friend."
Who?
You two.
Oh.
Yeah, but
But
at
it's
the
not
end of
about
the.
us, though.
Well,
Huh?
yeah.
It's not about
Friendship?
me. Between these two.
Is it not a friendship between? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not in general. I thought it was
it's just
friendship in
between these
general.
two birthdays.
Well, and I was going to say, and because at the end of the day, even if we go long distance of time without talking to her, I could still call her up and say this
Oh, yeah,
happened. And
yeah. I'm not judging it. God, don't attack me. I'm just saying that that's interesting because it's saying that there's no
Yeah.
high maintenance, basically, which is true. And
But
that's
that's-
very cool. Family. Family is not really Libra's thing. Two relatives born in this week can liven up any gathering. Too often, unfortunately, by not seeing eye to eye. The arguments and blowups can be extremely disruptive. In the workplace, too. The dramatic shows of effect may not help get a project completed, proving more counterproductive than entertaining. That sound about right. Do you get along with your family?
depends on the day you ask, but for the most part, since I've been older, yes. Younger, we didn't get along.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older and I live under, like,
Your own, yeah.
own roof, we get along.
That makes
Yeah.
more sense. Do you need this anymore?
Nope.
Okay, cool beans. That was fun. Did you have fun? I had fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
What do you think makes a relationship successful?
Or at least yours.
Yes.
Like what if there was one thing that you could name off, like it doesn't have to be a whole bunch, or if it's easier for you to be like, oh, this, like.
It's probably a couple different things. It's probably forgiveness, communication, and just caring. If you don't care, it's not going to go very far.
Yeah.
If you don't put in that effort, it's just.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. So being a stay-at-home mom, right? Being a military wife, and having these mental illnesses, and with them affecting you essentially on a daily basis, what do you do to like cope? Do you have passions? Do you have like hobbies or like side hustles that kind of distract you from them, or what is your self-prescribed medication?
My children.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And then I did start my own business, making signs and tumblers and
Which you can find here.
stuff like that, where I make growth charts and just different homemade stuff. And that really takes, if I'm feeling anxious, I can sit down, focus on that, and it kind of takes the anxiety away. So that's.
Those are some good. I mean, those are good things.
So
typically, that's what we
obviously
do.
you brought. Sorry, like that helps you focus. Does that help you with like your bipolar, like manic phases or anything like that?
No, I have to take medicine for that.
No. Okay.
And so, how did you like come about these hobbies? Like, how did you stumble upon it? Because I knew a time where you didn't want to touch anything, and now you're like, look at me.
So we lived next door to one of my really good friends. And she was crafty. She was into crafts. And it started with just a wreath. She wanted to make wreaths. And she was like, I'll buy the stuff if you want to do it. And I was like, sure, why not? And I did it. And I was like, hey, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then it went into, I had a wood burner. And I was making signs like that. But I was making signs, like I'd have to print out, because I have no artistic capabilities. So I have to use a stencil for everything. So I would print out the image I wanted, and I would trace it, and then I would burn it.
Yeah.
And then I would paint it. And for Christmas, Brandon got me a Cricut, and I've just kind of taken off from there because it's so much easier. And your stuff can be precise. I was very angry with my computer, with my own work, because I was like, it's not perfect and it needs to be perfect. So since then it's become
like your thing.
Yeah.
And what motivated you to start the business, like, and make like an official one? Because like, as you know, and as you guys may know, especially being around military bases, there's always somebody selling stuff on Facebook. But you've created your almost like a website, right? And you're selling products digitally online. So what made you push and lean into that instead of just going like, hey guys, I have the cup?
Because I wanted to do it more frequently. I wanted, because at first I was just doing it as like gifts. Like somebody would have a wedding, and I would, instead of giving them something, I would make them like a sign with their wedding date and stuff like that represented what they were going through, or like baby names for baby signs or stuff like that. And well, frankly, I just don't know that many people getting married or having babies. So I was like, well, let me reach out and see if there's any interest in
your work,
selling it. Yeah. And here we are.
Well, that, I feel like that's the kind of the short end of it, because you've been to like fairs or stuff and like get-togethers, big events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of explain how like you got there, like, and then again like the motivation like to do that, because I mean we all have these hobbies, right? But there, in my opinion at least, there takes some spark to like really set you off and keep going. Because like you said, the gifts, I get that, right? And then. But what really made you push to basically take on all this work? Because then it turns into more work, instead of more of a passion. Not saying that it won't or it isn't a passion still, but
Money.
Yeah.
We've been married almost 7 years. I've not made money. I've been a stay-at-home wife/mom, and it was nice to have something that was my own. Like, I made this and I did this, but I also didn't want to go back to work and have a boss, and I didn't want somebody telling me what I can and can't do. I want my own. I just wanted something to call my own. And it was nice because I had lost myself for a little bit in mommy land, and I was a mom and I was a wife, but I wasn't me. And this kind of is a part of me that I was able to get back and bring back for me.
That's nice. Yeah. That's really sweet. I like that. It's awesome.
Thanks.
That's really cool. What advice would you have for other mothers or wives who feel that way? Like you said, you lost yourself from being basically a mom all the time. What advice would you have for those mothers or fathers, I guess, whoever stays at home?
Get out of the house. Make sure you get out of the house. Make sure you leave your kids for a little bit of time. Not like permanently, but like
don't go for a lottery ticket and don't come back. Yeah.
But like for an hour here or there every once a week or something like that. Get out and find something you like to do. Do something for you. Make sure it's for you, and do something not for your kids, not for your husband or your wife. Either way, do it for you, and make sure it makes you happy and it benefits you.
And that'll help.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Some good stuff. Good soup. Awesome, Makayla.
Thanks for having me.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Well, we appreciate that you came on to talk to us. We admire you. We love you. And we generally find you to be an interesting person. And we think that, as we kind of mentioned before, the whole purpose for us doing this is to kind of bring light to some of the things that people don't really talk about often. And that includes being a mom stuck at home all day, every day, or a military wife who's being drugged across the country, every year because their husband serves in the military. So we like to talk about those things, and we appreciate you taking the time and sharing your thoughts and feelings on every random thing that we brought up today. We appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming on. I wish your husband would have came on, but that's okay.
Brandon.
How rude.
I know. Well, thank you guys for watching. As we mentioned before, check out her Facebook at Causeway Creations, right? Some of the work she's done. We appreciate that. Make sure you give us a like and follow on this video. Please subscribe. Check us out on Spotify, TikTok. What up? We're with the kids where they say gang gang. Sheesh. But until next Thursday, we'll see you guys again later. Bye.
Bye.